Okay, folks, the question for debate is what is the WWE's greatest misstep? And that was kind of an open-ended question. There was no qualifiers. It wasn't qualifying if it was a wrestling gimmick or the business or anything. So I'm going to answer it like this. I think the XFL. The XFL is the WWE's biggest misstep. And yes, I'm saying that the XFL was a part of the WWE, came from the WWE fame, came from the McMahons. It was Vince McMahon's desire to have his own football league. He felt that he accomplished all that he could in pro wrestling, or sports entertainment, as he calls it. And he felt the need to step outside his lane and go into the world of football. So that's my answer. I feel that Vince put a lot of funds, financial funds, a lot of attention and energy and resources into the XFL. And for those of you that think that that's not true, I would refer you quite simply to Bruce Pritchard's podcast with CONRAD THOMPSON, the Something to Wrestle podcast 2 or 3 years ago. They did an entire XFL episode, which you can find out all the details about how some of the wrestlers felt that they were getting ignored or being prostituted to promote this football league, and just the whole thing of where pro wrestlers that do a working match, meaning a predetermined match, and we're trying to promote this football league that is supposedly doing shoot football games, meaning non-rigged football games. So what the McMahons, or Vince McMahon in particular, was trying to sell to people is, oh yes, you should just take it for granted or take us at our word that we're not fixing these football games, but you've been promoting wrestling for 30 or 40 years. That's what you're known for. So the fans just didn't buy into it. There was a big, going back to the 2001, the original XFL 2001, and people tuned in for the first week, and then the ratings sank. And my opinion is that this also tarnished the reputation of the WWE. It tarnished, or the WWF at the time, it kind of an embarrassment. And it just looked like these wrestlers were so hot and so popular at the time. Steve Austin, The Rock, The Undertaker. And after the XFL, you can make a case that that's when things started to cool off a bit. And granted, ratings were still strong for several years. There was no competition, no WCW, not even an ECW. But things really kind of cooled off. By the time you did the invasion angle and you did, Triple H, and then The Rock left, as a full-time guy, and things did cool off. And they didn't sink to the ratings catastrophe they are now, but I think you could pinpoint the XFL as a turning point, the original 2001 XFL. And then if you look at the one from last year, this past year, 2019, 2020 XFL, that wasn't much good either. And now Vince has sold the company. And apparently The Rock has purchased it. So see if he can do something with this thing. Maybe he can, maybe he can't. But that's my answer, folks. You can even go back. Anytime Vince does anything outside the WWE or the WWF, WBF, World Bodybuilding Federation. Some of you probably never even heard of that, but look into that catastrophe. ICO Pro. The movies have never been that great. I mean, some movies have done fairly well. But my answer to the question, what's the WWE's biggest mistake? The XFL. So there you effing have it, folks. There you fucking have it. MikeMessier.com, Mike Messier YouTube channel.